Get some 8% seltzer shipped right to your house. We got the peach, we got the watermelon, we got the pina colada, and the blue raspberry. We are currently live in over 300 stores in Tennessee, Alabama, Georgia, Florida, and the Outer Banks in North Carolina. And if you're heading out to the Major League ballparks this summer, make sure to check us out in the Miami Marlins Stadium, as well as Tropicana Field, home to the Tampa Bay Rays, as well as the Tampa Bay Rowdies. We are live inside all three stadiums. So if you're down in Florida this year, check us out. Go to hardafseltzer.com today and check your store locator or order them right to your house.
Welcome to Drinking Bros, presented by GhostBed.com.
Oh, welcome to the Monday morning recap show. Take two here today. Technology wasn't with us. It's all right. Ohio State wasn't with it on Saturday. I deserve this. I deserve to start the show over, so it's my fault, okay? Now, I also deserve to go back to the well at mybookie.com. Promo code Drinkin' Bros doubles that first deposit up to $1,000 because, well, I lost $5,000 on that game. Not great. Again, we'll start off with the game of the weekend here. Ohio State at Michigan. Lived up to the hype. Ohio State lost again. Question is, should Ryan Day be fired? Everybody was asking that on social media immediately after the game was over. Maurice Clarett, who is everybody's favorite at Ohio State, went on social media and said, look, I'm not involved with the alumni as much as everybody else is. I don't have to kiss the ring and do everything else. But in my opinion, you can't lose 3 straight to Michigan, get paid $9 million a year, and keep your job.
I agree.
No.
I think he should be fired. But not just because he's losing to Michigan, but because he's a bad coach. He's a really good offensive coordinator, but as a manager over the team, he's proven himself to not be good at that, right? Now, Bob, you are going to make some point about Kirby Smart.
Kirby Smart started his career at Georgia and took over. So they say Ryan Day was born on third base. I'd say Kirby Smart was kind of on second base. Georgia was not in shambles. Rick's
not in shambles, but they were nowhere close to on the national stage what Ohio State was as a program. When Ryan Day took over, who were the quarterbacks waiting in the wings? Joe Burrow, Dwayne Haskins. Fuck off, dude. C.J. Stroud. They were all on that team. Justin Fields were all on that team at the time. Georgia had nothing approaching that.
Well, Georgia still gets recruits. Ohio State, like if you're one of these big-time blue blood programs, you're going to have guys.
Georgia hasn't been relevant in the national championship conversation since 1980.
No, they basically lost the national championship game in 2012 because whoever won that game, the SEC championship game, was going to butt fuck Notre Dame.
You can. Okay, I'll admit that then.
Yeah,
that was 12 years ago, and then before that, it was 1980.
Yeah,
when they actually won it.
It was a long time for you guys.
They were always relevant with Rick.
Yeah. I don't know that I would call Georgia a fucking blue blood. Even
it's not
like how competitive for how long do you have to be? Like Penn State's not a blue blood either. I wouldn't say that.
No, Georgia's right that tier below blue blood.
They're Penn State.
Yeah,
they're Notre Dame, right?
Notre Dame's a blue blood.
Way more relevant than Penn State.
Well, now
even then,
within the last 3 years.
Growing up a Penn State fan, and they had that one natty that they kind of claimed because that's what you did back then.
They had like an AP natty.
Same with Michigan. Yeah. Michigan's last national
it's a voter natty, yeah.
Well, it was split in half in 1997.
And it was fucking Kerry Collins.
The last pre-BCS.
But Ryan Day for real was born on third. Now, you can make all these excuses about Michigan cheating, and, fair enough. Maybe they even cheated this game. We don't know, right? Seems unlikely.
Yeah, seems unlikely.
I mean, they just got outplayed, but it's like...
You're a field goal away from a natty last year.
Yeah.
Because you would have run TCU.
You're one player away. You're an injury away from. And Marvin Harrison doesn't get knocked out. That's it.
Honestly, though, fuck even that. The worst coaching decision I've ever seen Ryan Day made had nothing to do with Michigan. It was settling for a 48-yard field goal.
Yeah. 50-yard field goal. But here's the thing, though. To Dan's point, he did the same thing in the game on Saturday. I don't understand. Like, there was 40 seconds left. You could have gone in closer for that, or at least attempted it. He didn't. He left a kicker. You should never leave a college kicker to kick a 50-yard
I know
field goal.
there's two sides of this story too, because there isn't a coach waiting to take that Ohio State job that it's going to do any better than he is.
Yeah, that's
right.
kind of my whole point. Is like,
Me too.
who's available right now? A&M just
There's one guy.
settled for
Well,
Elko.
John Gruden.
Nope.
Apparently, because John Gruden's being rumored for the fucking some Illinois job or some bullshit, or what the fuck was it?
What?
So he's being rumored for some
That might have
college
been a joke.
job in the Mid-East.
People are starting to like post memes.
Northwestern.
About,
No, it was no.
Northwestern.
It was a dark, I heard rumors a dark horse candidate for this job, and it was a Big Ten school, and it was John Gruden. Now, I don't think there's any chance he goes to college. Why the fuck would he, right?
Go back.
He's going to sue the NFL and make $80 million and then probably go back to broadcasting.
Well, they're already in that lawsuit, so I don't think he can coach until that's settled.
Not in the
unless
NFL.
it was college,
Yeah.
yes. So with Ryan Day, we've talked about this on the show in the past, and I mean, literally, like maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, where who do you get? In my opinion,
Indiana, excuse me, it was the Indiana Hoosiers.
Oh,
football
perfect.
team.
they
Yeah.
just fired their coach.
Yep.
He's definitely not going there, but
the COVID.
How funny
sweetheart.
would it be, though? if
it'd
he
be
did?
hilarious. It'd be awesome. It would make Indiana relevant overnight.
Just like bring Gene Hackman in as his fucking assistant or something.
Why not?
You know?
Why not? But as far as Ryan Day is concerned, there's only one guy out there. So if Urban wants to come back and he walks into if he walks in and says, I want the job, I can promise you, Dan and I can promise you,
Oh, yeah, he'll take it.
they would give it to him right then and
Because
there.
it
And then
seems like it
maybe-
looks like Tressel's taken over as AD as well.
You offer
and he should.
Ryan Day a demotion.
Not that, but I think you keep Hartline. If you were going to do this, and again, this is a wild hypothetical here, you keep Hartline on his OC, let him do his job. Urban's a great CEO. He never called the plays, whereas Ryan Day is calling every play on offense. And that was
is-
confirmed by Hartline. I asked him point blank. I also asked Urban if he wanted to come back. And I said, hey, there's a lot of us who would love you back. And he goes, I hear that a lot.
And he's like, my heart.
No, he just gave a
I gotta take a
wry
knee.
smile, did a shot of whiskey with us, and said, I hear that a lot, with a big smile on his face. Would he want to do it? Yes. Is he young enough to do it? Yes. Is that a question that the boosters will bring up in the university? Probably. But if you can't get Urban, you do not fire Ryan
No,
Day.
I agree
There's
with that.
nobody left.
I agree with
Also,
that.
how much more
nobody
successful
left.
is Urban compared to Ryan Day? He had one natty, right?
Well, he should have had
Yeah, but he had
two.
one natty.
He was
But he beat
undefeated.
Michigan every single time they played.
Because he was
7-0
going against Brady
Michigan.
Hoke and like the corpse of Rich
Who
Rodriguez.
fucking cares? He beat
beat him.
Michigan.
So did
Doesn't
Tressel.
matter.
Also,
Tressel never
Harbaugh
lost.
lost a bunch of games to Ohio State, and he was always on the hot seat. Like, oh, should we get rid of Harbaugh? No, you just be patient. Make sure, like, because you're not gonna have a better option, like you said. You're perfectly fine. Your ceiling and your fucking floor are essentially the same.
Yeah.
If you don't win a natty, you're still 11-win team every year.
I know.
That's pretty good.
I agree. So I don't think you can fire Ryan Day simply because there isn't anybody else left. If you want to give it to Urban Meyer, fine, great. We would all love Urban to walk through that door again, but I don't know if that's going to happen.
You're gonna hire like Dan Mullen, like
No, you're not going to
No,
do
it
it.
would only be for Urban or somebody
it.
of his quality, right?
Mark Stoops.
There's only one other person ahead of Urban, or two people ahead of Urban, probably right now. Kirby Smart, who's not leaving Georgia.
Yeah.
No.
Saban's not leaving Alabama. Like, this is a pipe dream.
You're not
So-
gonna hire Jed Fish from Arizona.
No,
Like that-
you're not exactly, because that's happening a lot right now. The second after these games ended on Saturday, they picked off all the candidates who are kind of hot right now. The head coach of Duke is
Elko's going to A&M.
Yep. He's going to A&M.
That's not a good. Like, I would rather
Michigan
just keep
State.
Jimbo for another
Yeah,
year.
what I'm saying.
Is Jimbo going to Duke?
No, he's
just
gonna.
swap.
He's living the ultimate job, which is fired head coach, and you get paid $75 million.
$7 million total, yeah. So with that, no, that's a stupid question. I don't think you fire Ryan Day because there's nobody else out there.
You guys want Gus? We'll give you Gus.
Nope.
I feel
Don't
like
want him either.
if I think that Urban, I think that's a real possibility. We talked about this a couple years ago when he took off, that he was going to fucking sit out a year and then you'll see him back in college. He's not going anywhere other than Ohio State. Like, this is the best case scenario for him, is for Ryan Day to fuck off and for him to take that job back.
Well, that's
Especially since Harbaugh is gone after this year, right?
Yeah.
So it's a new era. He gets to take that back over, and it becomes, instead of like Michigan, even if they win the Natty this year, will be yesterday's news if Urban goes to Ohio State.
And it might be vacated anyways, depending upon what the NCAA is going to do. Now, I will say this. If you're a Michigan fan, that coach was rad. Like, he made every fucking right move in that game. And, like, if that's your dude going forward, shit. What, he beat Penn State, at Penn State, beat Ohio State. like you're supposed to, and then Maryland is, look, on the road, it's a tough one.
Let's talk about the Big Ten for a second.
Yeah.
I called Michigan a fraud. I stand by it. I stand by it. The Big Ten stinks.
Yeah, this year. But next year, USC, UCLA,
Yeah, no,
Washington,
you get
and Oregon.
the
Now it's a
Oregon,
real
Washington.
conference.
All loaded.
Now it's
Actually-
a real conference.
Check it out. I only think one of those additions is going to be immediately a good team.
Oregon?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see what Washington does after they lose.
Washington will be all right.
Literally
Yeah,
every.
no
Well,
Phoenix.
they're losing everybody.
They're
Right?
losing everybody.
losing a
Most
lot
of
of
those
people.
teams are. USC is
And
all of it.
USC, I don't even care who's coming and going there.
And I guess
Like,
if people are saying like Lannon's going to leave Oregon, why?
No,
No.
Dan Lanning should not go anywhere.
I agree.
He is.
You have Nike money.
You've got
you have
Nike
the
money.
facility.
All it does
the-
though is it injects 2 to 3 more, depending on how they organize it, 2 to 3 more teams, maybe 4, into the Western Big Ten that are 8 to 11 win teams.
Yeah.
Which changes the dynamic of that conference altogether. Although
more Iowa
they're
in the
taking,
Big Ten championship.
Well, they're taking top 2 from now on, right? The
Yeah,
same
Top
way
two
the
from
SC
now
is.
on, and record-wise.
But still, like just balance of schedule-wise, they're
Yeah.
going to get even with a 12-team playoff, you're going to get ranked higher if you beat better teams. This is the way it is.
Which,
right?
by the way, I am pulling for a 15-10 win Iowa. Let's
Oh, my
go.
God. I can't.
I would
wait.
love
not
to
gonna
see
happen.
that. I mean, it's definitely not going to happen.
We're,
but-
I guess we do not put enough respect on Kirk Ferentz. We just kind of like make fun of Iowa all the time. But every now and then he'll pull out a 10-win season with 2 and 1 stars. And a lot of these dudes at Iowa go to the NFL. He is awesome, not on offense, but on defense, just turning these like guys that get no offers from any other college into pros,
yeah,
which is commendable.
it is. For Michigan, though, and we'll get back into this game real quick. For Michigan, I don't think they can win a national championship.
No.
But they have an excellent defense. They play all 3 phases of the game very complete. J.J. McCarthy is essentially a game manager. He's like an Alex Smith.
Yeah.
He didn't make a mistake in this game.
Corum's a fucking vulture, just gobbling up touchdowns.
That's all he is. I mean, because if you're Ohio State in this game, like, look, I think Ohio State was a quarterback short of the national championship. Talent-wise, everywhere else, the defense did all they could. If you said you're going to hold McCarthy to 148, Corum to 22 carries and 88 yards,
McCord was interesting because he didn't play a great game, but there were throws he made. I'm like, oh, okay, Kyle. Like, I can get down with that, like back shoulder throws, put it in the right spots, and then he would miss like a 3-yard out.
horrifically.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's just so spotty, and the numbers show it. 18 of 30. The 18 were great. The 12 were horrific.
Yeah.
And then the 2 turnovers did it in this game. I was fine with the officiating in this. I didn't really have an issue with it. Total, there was 4 penalties called. I thought the calls were fair on both sides. I said this in Drinkin Bros Sports in the Facebook group. Whoever's bitching about the referees, like, if there was a call that was missed, they went back and reviewed it. You thought it was an interception for Ohio State. I actually thought it was a touchdown.
Good argument for an interception.
I thought it was a touchdown for Michigan.
open for debate.
Because once he had possession just for a second at the very end, and he was over the goal line. So as soon as that possession happens, nothing else matters.
That's what
I
I,
don't
say
know.
too.
Dead.
Well,
It's
nobody-
dead
I
at
agree
that
with
second.
Nobody really knows what a catch is anymore. So
Well,
You have to make an athletic move.
but go
football
to the
move.
ground, lock the ball up in a box.
even
and
a
then
couple
send it
weeks
to your
ago where the
grandmother.
Cowboys got stopped at the 1-yard line against my Eagles, I mean, he didn't really have full control, but his knee was down, and then like you could have argued that was a touchdown probably, but
I thought he was. I thought the call was correct in that game too. I thought he was this short. I thought the call in the Michigan game was correct as well. So I don't really have a problem with that. It comes down to McCord throwing an interception. Michigan gets the ball in the 7. They
O-line
punch it
was
in.
not great. That last interception probably on the O-line.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
'Cause, I mean,
because it hit
McCord
his,
was
his
getting
arm was
rocked,
hit.
yeah.
He also panicked.
He
right?
panicked. Yes.
I mean, that's part of it. So college.
throw it away.
Yeah, I mean, you could throw it away. He's inside the box though, because you're going to get a 10-second runoff if you don't get out of the box. But that's with 45 or so seconds left, and you're in a 2-minute drill, right? Your offensive line knows that you have to keep internal pressure, right? You have to keep people from getting outside and coming around the back of that quarterback. He has to have a route to escape and throw the ball away.
Right.
Otherwise, the game is over, right? So even if he hadn't, to be honest, if he had just been sacked, that game's probably still over, unless they get 2 incredible plays off, one after another, and get down somewhere in manageable field position to throw a touchdown. Otherwise, they're fucked.
Wasn't it
either
first
way.
down? Was that play first down?
Yeah.
Yeah, and
That's-
look,
you clock it. I
there
guess,
was
if you
plenty.
really would.
There was plenty of time on the clock. That's all you can ask for is to drive to win the game in a rivalry like this. Even going back over the team stats, first downs 21 for Ohio State, 18 for Michigan. Total yards, 378 for Ohio State, 338 for Michigan. They won almost every offensive statistic category. Passing, 271 to 182. Rushing, kind of a wash, 107 to 156. Penalties were the same roughly. Time of possession, though, Michigan running the ball, running the clock down, same way that Rutgers did, was a winning formula, but ultimately the running game just never got going for Ohio State. And that's it. The 2 turnovers were the difference in this game. And I'm not really sure what else you can do about that with a shitty quarterback. It was supposed to be Quinn Ewers. I don't think you can come after Ryan Day for not recruiting a quarterback. He did. He was there. He just transferred. And that was supposed to be the dude this year. They got 2 unbelievable lights out 5 stars coming in next year. So I don't know what else you can do.
Let him run it back.
Yes.
And Marvin's talking
him.
about, hey, maybe I'll come back.
I wouldn't do that
He's not
unless they're
coming
paying
back.
him. Unless you're paying him.
Yeah. And then also, if like you see who's drafting, like 2 or 3. If it's the Bears,
Yeah,
I
like,
guess,
fair
well,
enough.
let's see.
Also,
So the
McCord's
way-
a 4-star, by the way. Like, no slouch.
No, he's a 4-star because he was throwing to Marvin Harrison
you
all
well
through high school.
also
He got the Ohio
if
State
certain
bump.
recruits go to certain schools, you
They get
get
a bump and
boosted.
star, yeah, for
So
sure.
if he went to UCF, he's a 3-star.
Yeah. But I mean, imagine throwing to Marvin Harrison in high school. Jesus Christ. How are you losing a game with.
Oh, right.
St. Joe's
yeah.
Prep, baby.
It was the same. They were teammates for all those years. So
It's a great organization too. Just a powerhouse in Philadelphia.
it is. It is. A lot of guys come out of there. A lot of Penn State guys come out of there, too.
Well, now we're all set for the conference championships.
Yep.
And that'll tell us who the fucking CFP is really going to be.
Right, which we'll get to in a second because the next game up was Auburn, Alabama. I thought it was. I was almost angrier at that.
As soon as I saw Auburn rushing 3, and the 3 not even, just drop 11 into coverage at that point. If you're not even going to try to get to the quarterback, just everyone run back to
I
the
agree.
fucking
And then
end
just
zone.
stay at the goal line.
Like, God
The
damn, dude.
Milrow miracle.
Dude, as soon as I saw that they were rushing 3 and that the 3 were, I mean, at one point, one guy sits back and like watches Milrow move, like he's fucking spying him, like he's gonna fucking run 30 yards for a touchdown.
Yeah.
It's fucking insane. Like as soon as I saw that, I was like, they're
Fourth and
begging
31.
God.
I still think
it's a great throw.
I still think you're downplaying how stupid this was.
Yeah.
Because
Fourth and goal.
the one thing that Milrow is
Like the
really good at is
35.
throwing the ball deep. Right? So get pressure on him so he can't do that. What
Yeah,
the fuck?
maybe
I would have rushed
Alabama?
5. I would have rushed 5
The
right
math
there.
is in your favor,
Yeah.
rushing 4
Rush-
even.
rush
Nope.
5.
They only sent 5 receivers down.
I think Saban was playing 40 chess. He was like, Milrow's best throw, 35, 40 yards.
It is. For real. So why do you rush 2 on
It's
that,
not.
or
Look,
3?
it's essentially a Hail Mary at that point, and I don't know what the fuck.
You know
Auburn
who
was
can't throw
doing
a Hail
in
Mary?
row-
A sacked quarterback.
Man, but you watched,
make them bring at least one of those receivers back to block or
Well,
something,
and
right?
the other thing too is right. So with the pressure, and
You
just
do
even-
need
just even-
you need at least 2 guys to pressure because if you drop all the guys back, someone's eventually going to get open in some part of the field.
Yeah, but not in the end zone. It had to be in the end zone.
Yes.
There was no first down.
It was touchdown
And
or game's over.
And the other thing too, though, with that is like even just cosmetic pressure, even making him move just a little bit. All of a sudden, you're slicing off pieces of the end zone that he can't throw it to anymore, and now you have more guys down there than they do. More trap. I mean, like it's just they let him look the entire way across the field. Didn't give a fuck about putting. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying they should drop 11, but like if that's your pressure, then you might as well.
That just told me that act of God, they're beating Georgia. They're going to beat Georgia.
I don't think so.
No,
I
they're
don't
definitely
think so
not
at all.
beating Georgia.
And
Georgia
look,
by-
Kirby Smart's not making that mistake, and they won't be in that situation.
They won't be in that
the first
scenario,
place.
but they'll beat Georgia.
No.
Alabama to the playoff confirmed.
I don't. No, they look like dog shit in that game.
It's the
and-
Iron Bowl.
It's the Iron Bowl on the road to Jordan Hare, one of the spookiest places in the country. Like that's weird shit
I'm not
happens
doing
there.
that.
Throw
I'm
the
not doing
record books out. That's just what
And by the
happens
way,
in college football.
one of the few coaches in recent history who has somewhat had Saban's goat a little bit. Hugh Freeze has 2 wins over Nick Saban.
Yeah.
List me how many coaches active today
Gus
have
Malzahn.
2 wins over Nick Saban.
Gus Malzahn's
Kirby
got 3.
Smart's
At Auburn.
is probably one.
Yeah.
Well, UCF's undefeated against Alabama right now. They're 1-0. So.
It's literally like Kirby Smart, Gus Malzahn.
Was it a forfeit? What happened?
No, it's 2000.
But what about when Gus was at Auburn though?
He had 3 wins against Bama.
No shit against Nick Saban.
Yeah.
No
It's
shit.
Kirby Smart, Malzahn, and probably Dabo. That's probably the only 3.
Okay.
That was 17 and Wait, 17 was the second.
It was the close natty they won,
Yeah.
and then the natty they blew out.
Well,
There was one Watson natty, one Lawrence natty against Bama.
So let's talk about this. And if Bama were to get in, if they beat Georgia on
Win and get
Saturday,
in. Yeah. Whoever wins that game's in. And Georgia might still get in with a loss.
Depending on how things shake out.
two SEC.
Well, yeah, if like Washington loses to Oregon, yeah, I would think you would put a one-loss Georgia in over a one-loss Washington.
Yes.
Frankly.
Washington has been winning every single game by a field goal
play
for
in the
like the last.
Pac-12 though.
I would say the
7
Pac-12
weeks.
champion, that's a winner, go home. Like, whoever wins that game's probably in, but also not guaranteed because Florida State could win, and they're going to get a spot. Like, you're not going to keep an undefeated Florida State out.
Yep.
No,
no matter what happens.
I agree. They're in.
And then undefeated Michigan, and then you have one
Michigan
loss.
will be undefeated.
And then
you
you gotta choose between the Pac-12 champion and Texas if they win, right? Like Texas, who beat Bama, probably the best win of the season in Tuscaloosa. Big 12 champion, and they would get in over Oregon, I think.
well,
even if Oregon beats
but
Washington.
here's what's interesting. Did you guys look at the AP rankings that came out last night?
No, I
So
don't care.
with that, well, you should, because I think this is what's going to happen tomorrow night. Ohio State only dropped to 6. Texas and Alabama are still behind them.
Texas is going to win their conference. They're in.
Yeah, Texas is not going to get left out. Over
I don't know about
Ohio
Alabama.
State.
I don't know about Alabama, but if Alabama beats Georgia, they're gonna.
Oh, yeah.
they're gonna
If-
hop
Who is
Ohio
Texas's
State.
one loss? Who did Texas lose to?
OU in the Red
OU,
River.
Oklahoma.
What are
They cannot
ranked?
avenge it though because Oklahoma State won their game against BYU,
Yeah.
Oklahoma's ranked 12th.
They're 12.
and that's a rivalry. Yeah. They probably and Texas looked like the better team, even though they lost. They still looked like the better team.
I think. To be honest,
And they are top fours.
I kind of feel like Oregon's going to beat Washington.
I do too.
They're
I
favored.
think- they should be.
Aren't they favored by like 9 points?
Yeah, they're favored by a lot.
I didn't know it was that much.
They're a
Goddamn.
complete team. If I'm looking at all the teams right now, and this isn't a knock on Michigan at all, I don't know how you beat Georgia only being able to run the ball.
I think
would
we
put
need to keep the Big Ten
Georgia-
out. Like, I don't care if Michigan goes undefeated. They stink. I think Mizzou could beat fucking Michigan.
Yeah, but Florida State stinks too, right?
Florida
I would
State
keep Florida
stinks,
State on
man.
that
But
too.
I
we're not
honestly,
going to.
like-
So it's going to be those. It's going to be Georgia,
Look-
Florida State, Michigan,
looking-
and somebody
I
else.
know.
Looking
It's
at that-
probably
Texas.
Georgia versus Oregon, probably in the national
It'll
championship.
probably
Those are the two most complete
It'll
teams.
probably
And Georgia.
be Texas. They'll are like in that 4th spot unless something happens with Oklahoma State.
Like,
to be
games should
honest.
matter, and I know results should matter. You go undefeated, you should probably get in the playoff, like when you're a Power 5 team like Florida State or even Michigan. But check it out. They're not two of the top 4 teams, right? Like, Oregon's a top 4 team. Texas is a top 4 team. Alabama, Georgia. Yeah, fuck it.
It's going to
That's
be
good enough
interesting
me.
for the committee. Should Oregon beat Washington handily? I think they will. I think Florida State will probably beat Louisville. I know they're down, but Louisville got
I think
wrecked.
I think the worst thing that could have happened for Florida State was Louisville losing to Kentucky.
Maybe. Yeah,
Dude,
maybe.
check it out. Maybe
But
Louisville
if
just
Texas
sucks.
But if Texas blows out Oklahoma State too, man, I don't know. Even if Florida State beats Louisville, I still think Texas and Oregon belong in over Florida State.
But it just won't happen.
It's just not
Yeah.
going to happen. It
and
fucking
as a man with
sucks.
the Florida State
And Florida-
national championship ticket, I gotta.
Florida State, for what it's worth, I mean, they have good wins. Like, I mean, at least against LSU to open the year.
Clemson.
And Clemson.
At Clemson's a good win.
Yeah, at Clemson's a good win for sure. And honestly, at Florida, not a bad win either.
Wait, Clemson's out of the top 25 now.
So yeah,
how's that?
Well, here's the other thing too. If
they lose?
Alabama
They lose to
loses,
South Carolina.
No.
So how are they out? Because they were like 22nd last week.
Clemson, they've got 4 or 5 losses. Clemson.
No,
does.
but they're still ranked. There's no
Let's
way they're
see.
out. I mean, the college football playoff is the thing that matters. not
No,
the
they were
AP.
24th last week, and this week they are unranked.
Yes.
Well,
They're unranked.
They haven't. It hasn't come out yet.
AP,
Well,
they're unranked.
AP, they're unranked right now.
AP
so
doesn't matter.
let's go around the horn real quick here. We'll start with you, D'Anthony. Who are your final 4 here after this weekend, you think?
Well, Georgia, Michigan for sure. I think Oregon will probably get in, and unfortunately, probably Florida State. But it should be Texas.
Okay. What about you, Delco?
So I think, realistically, Georgia wins. They're in. Or whoever wins that game is in. So SEC champion. Michigan's going to beat Iowa. It sucks, but Michigan's in. So that leaves 2 spots. I think Florida State's going to win, so they'll take that spot. And then it's going to be between Texas and the winner of the Pac-12 championship. And I think
If it's Washington, then it's Washington because they're undefeated.
But I think Oregon's going to kind of steamroll Washington. So I think Oregon's going to get boned. I think Texas is going to win. They're going to get in, and Oregon's going to get left out at 5.
What do you get?
Which would
I guess
suck because I think
so-
Oregon's the best team in the country.
But it also
Like,
depends on the margin of victory in these games.
Yep.
It does.
Right?
It does.
Because Oklahoma State and Washington are not peers in any regard, right?
No.
One is a top 10 team, and the other one is maybe, let's say, top 20.
And by the way, the conferences are not peers either.
Right.
The Big 12 is pretty fucking mid this year.
Yeah.
and then if Bama beats fucking Georgia, it's like, wow. Like, what do you do?
Yeah.
Because they might still keep Georgia in.
Yes. Of course they will.
I mean, if-
they've won 29 straight games.
But if Bama beats Georgia and then Washington wins, if the others, like you've got a conference champion, they're going to get in for beating the number one ranked team all season. They're getting in, right? And then Washington, if they're undefeated, they're getting in. Florida State undefeated, getting in. You have to choose between Georgia, Texas, and Oregon.
You're going to have to look at the resumes, and Oregon's resume is not very good.
But the dream situation for the committee is Georgia, Michigan, Washington, Florida State all win this weekend. All four are undefeated. The last four undefeated teams left, and then they don't have to worry about it.
Makes it easy. Yeah.
Now, if that doesn't happen in some form or fashion, the only guaranteed victory that I'm willing to give you is Michigan out of this, where it's a fucking guarantee.
I'll guarantee you Georgia.
Yeah, I think Georgia.
I think
Georgia's good
I'm
to go.
with you. I think Georgia's
I
in as
also-
well.
I think the biggest problem is Washington. I don't think they can beat Oregon.
I don't either.
Not the way the two teams have been playing lately. Washington is by the skin of their teeth every fucking
And
week.
Oregon just put the boots to
Somebody
Oregon
got in their
State.
ass at some point. They were like, "Hey, quit fucking being little bitches and start playing." And they have been rocking people.
Who do you
for
got,
6
Bob, in your
weeks
Final
now.
Four?
I think this is what's going to happen is Georgia beats Bama. Georgia's in. God, I want the lulls, but Michigan beats Iowa.
Yep.
Michigan's in. Florida State.
If Iowa gets in, we got to go to the game
Oh my
or something,
God.
dude. Just we become Iowa fans.
Oh, yeah, I'll go.
Oh, wait.
I'll
If
go.
Iowa wins the Big Ten, they're not in.
Yeah,
they're
won.
not.
No,
It
but
just
we
keeps the
become
Big Ten out.
Iowa fans. That's what I'm saying.
We will declare that Iowa is a real state that exists. We will put the fucking jersey on set. How about that?
We'll
put
hang
a
a
flag up
banner
there.
of Kirk Ferentz.
Yeah.
Yes,
I
yes.
don't
we
know
will
who that
absolutely
is, but
do
yeah,
that.
we'll do
He's the
that.
head coach.
Oh shit. Okay,
Yeah, he's
so
the
there you
head
go.
coach.
I think Florida State's going to lose to Louisville.
Okay.
not gonna
I
happen.
think with their backup QB and everything else, and Louisville is going to be fucking furious on that loss. And by the way, it's Brom's first year, right? So he can still win. Like, oh no, all you did in your first year was win a fucking ACC championship.
Do you think Brom is he was the spoiler in the Spoiler Makers?
Yeah, I do. And he's going to be a spoiler maker again. I think Louisville's going to knock off Florida State. They're out. I think Oregon's going to knock off Washington. Washington's out. So now you have Georgia, Michigan. I think Oregon gets in. And then it comes down to, does Texas win the Big 12? I actually don't think Texas is going to
You think Gundy's going to ruin it?
I think Gundy's going to finish the job. He already took care of OU. He's the Big 12's Avenger, all right? He took care of OU. Now he's going to take care of Texas. Don't expect a crucial call to go Texas's way.
Oh, yeah, Big 12 refs?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Might be going against Texas.
Yeah.
But
So-
Texas is like far superior to Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State.
I mean, they're 14 and a half.
It doesn't matter,
We
man.
beat Oklahoma State by 42.
I understand that. I understand
I
that.
lost a lot of money on
Texas
that game.
Texas can choke this away. I think they will choke it away.
So who's your fourth team then?
So then that's the question, right? Who's the fourth team? Is it Ohio State?
Or Washington?
Or
That would be all
Washington.
you'd be left with at that
Who
point.
do you go with? Do you
Ohio
go with-
State beat Penn State. They beat fucking Notre Dame.
Washington would have the best win between the two teams, which is over Oregon.
Sure.
And then Washington was a
But
conference.
that win got avenged in this scenario. Right?
Yeah. But
Yeah.
they still got it, right?
Yeah.
And then you have the question of, is it their only loss, by the way, was in a bonus game. They don't have any regular season losses. They lost, but they played an extra game to have
There's
to
just
lose
too
that game.
many teams in the mix. Like TCU got in last year because like it was pretty easy.
Yeah,
There was
and by the
there was
way-
like 4 teams that you could realistically put in
But they lost where? In their bonus game.
in the bonus game. Yeah.
So I think
That's why I'm
Washington-
saying they were
I think
in.
Washington probably would be the one to get in. Although I think you're
No, that's a winner go home. Like
You think so?
you lose that game, you're out because there's so many fucking teams in the mix.
yeah.
Yeah.
But maybe that's. And I think then it would be Ohio State getting in. The only other way. I mean, who else is behind Ohio State?
No, yeah, that's it.
Because
at
then
that
it drops
point.
down to
Yeah.
Missouri.
Now,
It
what
drops
is
down
the
to Missouri.
path
Our
for
path-
Mizzou to get in?
The path is closed. I was so close to getting the path.
It was close.
The
It's close
path
now.
was so close. 'Cause
Again, I would still take Mizzou over Michigan today. In a neutral site game.
It's a strange team, man. It's definitely a throwback to like it's great defense and like it's an Alex Smith and a bunch of fucking people and chewing up the clock.
The only
it's
thing
a hard
is-
team.
Not
Lack
worried about
of
that offense.
Talent in the conference.
Not worried about that offense.
Yeah. So for me here, I got Georgia beating Alabama at 1.
The over-under on the Michigan-Iowa game, by the way, is 35.5.
Actually, take that over.
Take the over.
Take the over. Michigan will hit it.
Because Michigan's going to force turnovers. And
Michigan's
going to
shut out Iowa.
Yeah.
Probably.
But it'll be 35-0.
Yeah.
Could be a 35-0 game.
I think it's going to be like
that defense is
25-0.
elite for Iowa. Could be 17-0.
I got Georgia here at 1. I think they beat Alabama. Michigan beats Iowa. I have Oregon over Washington there. That'll put them in at 3. I think Florida State loses to Louisville because they're on their third string quarterback.
That would
for this
make
game.
it very easy for the committee if Florida State loses.
Easy, right?
If they win, then that's when we kind of have like the conversation. Like you can't keep out an undefeated team in a Power 5.
Here's the bone
Yeah,
job
but why is ACC considered Power 5? Clemson is the only team in that conference that's been relevant at the national level for fucking 20 goddamn years, right? Since Florida State was good in the early 2000s.
No.
Florida
Winston
State, they
won a
won with
natty
Winston and
in
Natty. What was
13.
it,
Yeah,
2013?
2011. That was
13.
12, right?
13, yeah.
13,
Okay, so
yeah.
one season.
They made the playoff the next year.
Who did?
Florida State.
They
were
won what year?
In 14.
14.
Winston was a
They
freshman.
went
when
back
they
to
won.
back.
So 2 years then,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Other than that, for the last decade, it's only been Clemson.
I
This
agree.
P5 versus G5 thing, I mean, you should have a gripe about this too, because Cincinnati wasn't necessarily on the level of everybody else when they made the CFP a couple years ago. I think it became, but they played pretty well.
You got to do the groundwork though. For a G5 school like Boise, it's just like the year before kind of goes into the next year.
Mm-hmm.
Same with UCF. We went undefeated back-to-back seasons, so like we got more respect. And then the next team that came after us, Cincinnati, they had a really good season the first year. Second year, fed into the other year.
You got to
That's why they got into the
build
playoff.
momentum. You can't just be an out of nowhere 12-0 G5 team.
You can't be Liberty this year.
Yeah.
No. So again, I got Georgia beating Alabama at 1. I got Michigan winning. They're at 2. I think Oregon beats Washington. They hop up to 3. I think Florida State loses to Louisville. Here's where the controversy, in my opinion, will probably come in. I think Texas wins, and I think the committee will put in Ohio State at 4 for ratings and money, like Bob and I talked about a couple weeks ago.
No.
It's the highest rated team in college football. Well, hang on.
Texas
that
would
give
be
you
pretty high ratings too.
it wouldn't beat Ohio State.
I just don't see a
but-
path for Ohio State.
Hang on. Hear me out on this one. That would be a rematch versus Georgia in the 1-4 to start off. If you're looking at money and ratings wise, ESPN now owns it. Bob and I chatted about this a couple weeks ago.
But there's some big boys at the table.
But you're looking at a one-loss
Already.
Texas. Texas's loss was to Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Oklahoma's 12. Ohio State's one loss is Michigan at 2.
Are you saying you think Ohio State could get in over a conference champion Texas?
I do.
There's no fucking way.
No fucking prayer.
I
because
not
Texas is
100%.
also a massive program that had their own network. It
Yeah.
failed, but
But who did it cost? Who bought that?
ESPN.
Yes.
Texas.
That's their own fucking fault.
I believe Texas makes more money every year in merchandise
Ohio State,
Than Ohio
yeah.
State does.
Texas is
I
in
think they're the
over
number
Ohio State.
one merchandise school in the country.
You can't try to big brother Texas. It's
It's-
not possible.
Yeah, you're not keeping out a conference champion. Texas has to lose a conference championship game.
Well,
has to.
we'll find out. Why did they not move up? Is what I can't figure out.
I don't know. That is weird. I don't know why.
They're 50 points behind.
But that's the AP, by the way. I guarantee you they'll
College
be higher
football
in the
playoffs
CFP.
is going to be what matters.
watch the CFP rankings tomorrow night.
Texas is gonna be
That'll
above
tell
Ohio
you.
State.
Texas-
But if they aren't, then what happens?
It doesn't matter
Still
because they
doesn't
have an
matter.
extra game, so they'll be able to hop Ohio State.
All right, look. It's a dirty, disgusting prediction. I think they'll keep them out for ratings. That's all
Not
I'm
a
saying.
fucking prayer.
That's not. That's like saying they're going to keep the Red Sox out for ratings. Like it's like, well, the Yankee. It's like it's.
But you have to play for that one. This one is subjective. They put Ohio State in last year,
Listen,
and I don't think
there
they
wasn't
should've
anyone
really
else to
gotten
be
it.
in. It was a weak field last year.
You could talk me into Ohio State hopping Oregon for ratings or something, even though Oregon has a pretty big fan base. But you can't tell me they're going to hop
Texas for
Texas
ratings.
for
And by the way,
ratings.
Texas has a bigger actually ratings drop than Ohio State does, and that is that they are the perfect combination of blue blood but still kind of new face because they haven't
They haven't
been there
been in the
a minute.
mix for the college football.
So
playoff.
it's like people are just like, oh yay, different helmet.
And it's also
I
a
do
conference champion.
like a different helmet.
I do like a different
It's a
helmet.
conference champion is the real point, because on paper Texas doesn't compete. They've got if they beat Oklahoma State, they'll have 2 ranked wins, right? The best one of the year probably against Alabama, sure, right?
Oh, yeah,
But
'cause
K-State's gone. Fucking
K-State.
Kansas is gone.
Yeah.
Oklahoma is a loss.
Yes.
That's it, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Not a great resume.
resume-wise, but conference championship usually is the fucking deciding factor, right?
Big 12 did suck this year.
That's what I'm saying. So watching all the coverage, everybody
so did
says the same thing.
So did the Big Ten, although your schedule didn't. So I guess fair enough.
And that's what so far, if you've watched the rankings, it has been schedule and schedule only, and it hasn't really fucking mattered.
Notre Dame is doing a lot of heavy lifting for you guys.
Notre Dame.
Texas has
even Penn State hanging in there at 10.
Penn State is awful.
At 10.
That's fine, but I mean, Texas has the
Penn
best
State
win
is
of,
better Iowa. That's it.
They really
seriously,
are, yeah.
they're just better Iowa.
and Texas has the best win in the country, let alone better than Ohio
It is.
State.
Texas win in Tuscaloosa is the best win in the country.
But if Alabama gets blown out by Georgia, what is the committee going to say then, I guess?
They're going to say we take the conference champion.
Well, it's happened before. Like Ohio State made the playoff in
did?
16.
They jumped them.
After getting beat.
Yeah.
So
And they lost last year and got in.
Yeah.
And it was like, all right. So, just a weird prediction, man, but we'll see. It could be a moot point if Oklahoma State wins.
if
anyway.
it was somebody other than Texas, I think you might have a point. But
yeah,
Texas-
K-State's playing for.
Yeah. Or even Oregon or Washington, I think you still have a point.
I think it's the Big 12. It seems like the committee hates the Big 12.
Well, that's because the Big 12 sucks.
And the two Big 12 teams that get into the playoff get butt fucked every year.
Except the one Baker Mayfield team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They just
Probably should have beat Georgia, but they blew that
They
game.
just got BF'd in the second half.
Yeah. So we'll see. Either way, it sets up an awesome weekend full of games here coming up. And who fucking knows?
I
dude?
think you guys have a clear path. It just Texas has to lose.
Texas does have to lose.
I don't think Ohio State deserves to be in at all, but that's just me. Why ride
shouldn't
this
have got
out
in
with
last
a
year.
shittier quarterback?
And they should have won the national.
I mean, they're going to get butt fucked by Georgia if they get in. So what's the point? It's one extra game. I guess the university makes a little money, but it kind of hammers home the point that McCord doesn't belong.
I would say
on
there's
the field.
There's
Well, get him
definitely
out of there.
Yeah.
There's
Get him out of there.
There's definitely a bigger gap between. It's funny because both teams are worse, but there's a bigger gap between Georgia and Ohio State this year than last year. I would say.
Oh yeah.
they should have beat Georgia last year.
I know.
I know. We'll see. Look, it's going to be a fucking blast this weekend for
But
sure.
by the way, if that top four holds true, Georgia's ass fucking everyone.
Oh
in the
yeah.
top four.
If this is
Georgia
Georgia,
ain't worried
Michigan,
about-
Washington, and Florida, it's over.
Yeah,
dude.
Georgia's hoping for chalk. They
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
want to see Oregon at all.
No.
Nobody
No.
does.
that's
No.
their biggest threat.
Other than that, I think they'll be fine.
I think Oregon, Georgia, Natty would be awesome.
that'd be fucking dope. Yeah.
that would be
that's the best matchup I think we could get out of there. And Bo Nix, with the experience he has, like it helps being a fifth-year senior
And
there.
Landon was on Kirby's staff.
Sure was.
Yeah.
Even
sure
though
was.
Oregon doesn't draw the same kind of TV crowd, I think it would be high ratings just because of how good those two fucking teams are. You know
They're
what I mean?
both very good in all phases of the game, and I think those are the two best teams in the country. And I don't really think it's close. After
Well,
that.
next year we won't have to worry about this horse shit.
nope.
you won't.
Because I'm
is-
not gonna. Well, we'll end up doing it. I know we will, but I don't want to spend any time debating fucking
12 and
13,
13.
14, 15.
Yeah, we're not
We're gonna have
debating
this
three
same
lost teams.
conversation about 12 through 15.
No,
next
not
year.
with
we are.
3 and 4
Yeah, we
lost
are because we
teams,
got to
no.
do this stupid fucking show.
Yeah. I will just say though, by the way, it is like perfectly Missouri for us to be like an unambiguously top 12 team the year
the
before
first
the
year,
top
yeah.
You're
12
bringing them
playoff.
back.
Bringing a lot back, but a lot can happen.
Yeah, and then there's more coming to the SEC, and there's more coming to the Big Ten.
Actually,
doesn't matter.
our schedule is really favorable next
Yeah.
year, but like compared to what it usually is. But it doesn't matter just because every year is different. Like if I told you Missouri was going to win 10 games this year, you guys would
Yeah.
have
Well, I'll
been
see,
like you're banned from the show for a month.
At least your
About-
conference isn't going to be considered probably like a G6 now.
Yeah. Well, you're moving into a P5 technically.
No,
right?
we are technically, but it's going to be a G2 soon.
They're gonna be
Or,
P2. Yeah.
yeah.
That's what I was gonna say.
once
Like,
they
I mean, the Big
lose.
12, you should relegate it because, next year, Utah's going to be favorite probably.
Yeah.
They're probably the best team in the conference.
and then the Pac-12 doesn't exist.
Yep.
So it's like we'll see how that goes. But
Jonathan Smith already left Oregon State.
I will say this though: if let's say it was a 12-team playoff now this year,
This field would be incredible.
it would just because of who you would have. So somebody's going to fall out.
They come out Tuesday night and they're like, you know what? We're bumping it up to 12. We're moving it a year up.
So here's what it would be: LSU, Oklahoma, Ole Miss, Penn State, Missouri. Someone would fall out of there. Whoever loses.
It'd be super fun, though. 'cause then-
Alabama, Texas, Ohio State, Oregon, Florida State, Washington, Michigan, Georgia. That's a banger of a 12.
You're getting Tulane as well
Oh, you're stuck with Tulane?
Tulane would get an auto bid.
Oh, Christ. Why are we doing that?
because it's the best G5 school. Although
So
they,
what?
Liberty would be like, oh, why not us? Well, you didn't play anyone.
I know. They're 12-0.
And Tulane's only loss was to Ole Miss without their quarterback.
Yeah, Tulane's legit. Willie Fritz
And it's
is-
2 straight seasons where they've gone off. So same team, came back, won 11 games.
I don't want to see it. I just
Michael
don't wanna
Pratt,
see it.
baby.
No, I'm good. By the way, we're brought to you by MyBookie.com. Promo code Drinkin' Bros doubles that first deposit all the way up to $1,000. Here's the fun thing about gambling, kids. You can lose $5,000 on a Saturday and then make $1,800 the next day and not lose a fucking game. Shout out to the Eagles for that last minute cover there. Holy fucking shit, dude. 2.5. That's why I tell you, by the half a point. That is the 9th time this season that has come through on a half a point. So that is 9 extra wins you have. Always tell you to do it. I'll never stop. I know everybody inside the group was screaming at the TV yesterday, and they were like, look, they tell you to buy a half a point. Buy a fucking half a point. That's it. Congratulations to the Eagles on that for saving my fucking weekend. Holy shit. Other than that, man, there's college football, all the championships to bet on this weekend.
Yeah,
all the
some
NFL games.
Interesting lines. I think, what was it? Michigan's 22.5 point favorite over Iowa. And then the Bama line was pushing 10. It was like 9.5 or something like that.
It's 5.5 now.
Oh, 5.5. No, there's one that's 9.5. Oh, no, that was Oregon. Washington was 9.5.
9.5, yep.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Michigan, Iowa's 23. Louisville, Florida State's the closest at 2.5.
And Florida State's the favorite.
I'm all in on
Louisville money line.
Yep, I'm all
Louisville
in
money
on,
line.
I'm all in on Louisville, baby.
They just lost to Kentucky.
They didn't lose that game. They took the day off to get ready.
Right, they were focused on the ACC.
That was, I
championship.
mean, Louisville losing to Kentucky was like clear as day to me. Like, I felt like that was an inevitability. But Florida State, Louisville's going to come back. I'm telling you.
Has Louisville beaten Kentucky since Jack Harlow owned Louisville?
God damn it!
Since
dude.
he's rocked Louisville gear.
I don't think so.
Jack Harlow ruined Thanksgiving.
He
as
did,
well.
but Dolly Parton saved it.
She sure did. So Oregon it's down to 9 now, but still, god damn it. For a team that's 4 in the nation who already beat Oregon, and they're like, no, it's a 9-point game. I agree with it, actually.
Also, I mean, look, maybe sprinkle Oklahoma State 4-1 money line.
14 points there.
4-1.
Holy
stink.
shit.
425
They're not
plus
good.
425.
Do you give it to Gordon every single down and see what happens there? He had,
It'll get
I think he had
shut down.
5 touchdowns yesterday or Saturday.
Gundy is going to avenge the Big 12. All right.
It's all in Gundy's hands here. We'll see. Shit. There's a fuck ton of
Texas is a top 4.
NFL tonight. We got fucking. You can bet on that. Everything. Heisman. Who's winning the Heisman? I mean, you can bet on everything right now.
Jane Daniels should win the Heisman. I'm tired
probably.
of saying it. He's
Probably
the best
Jane
player in
Daniels.
college football.
Yep.
Period.
Yep.
It's not even close.
Yep, I agree.
It is close.
It's not close.
It is close.
He's got like fucking 10 more total touchdowns
Bo
than anybody
Nix
else
And
in
like
the field.
1,000 rushing
Yeah.
Bo
yards.
Nix
I'm
wins
with
games
Dan.
and has equally similar stats.
You
Like,
can't
it is
blame
close.
him for the fucking shitty LSU defense. He's not turning the ball over. He's not making mistakes.
He made a lot of mistakes against Florida State.
I was against Dan
was a
on
long
this one.
time
I'm
ago.
with him. I think it should be Jaden Daniels.
I agree.
after the
It should
last
be
game.
Jaden Daniels, but like I hate the saying it's not even close because it is close.
It's not close.
No, it's close. As far as
Did Milrow play himself into it?
no,
Okay.
he sure didn't. I can't believe they won that fucking game. Either way, there's so much rad shit to bet on. Go to mybookie.com. Promo code Drinkin' Bros doubles that first deposit up to $1,000. If you want tickets to any of these games, if you're an Iowa fan going to watch this game in Indianapolis, I've been before. It's Indianapolis. You know, it's a step above Iowa, so I'm sure you'll have fun there.
Sorry, he's got 13 more total touchdowns than anybody else in
Holy
college
Christ.
football.
3 more
Playing at
L's, though.
LSU.
That's a season's worth of touchdowns.
Playing at LSU.
I know. That's drinkinbrostickets.com. You get tickets to all this NFL games. You name it. We got it over there. And then Hard AF Seltzer. Go to hardafseltzer.com. Click on that store locator there. We're in Alabama. We're in Georgia. We're everywhere. If you're going to the SEC Championship this weekend, we're in fucking 400 stores, I think, in Georgia and all throughout Atlanta. Grab some 8% Hard AF Seltzer and get fucked up. Shit, what do we got? If you're in Michigan rolling down through Ohio to go to that game, stop in Ohio, Michigan fans. Grab some fucking Hard AF Seltzer there. And just remember, we're in every single Total Wines down there in the southeast and all the Piggly Wigglies down there all over Tuscaloosa's campus. Party responsibly or not. I don't really care. We can say whatever we want here. Go to hardafseltzer.com and support us. NFL over the weekend. Man, game of the week was Eagles versus the Bills. Josh Allen, man.
That's all we do, baby. We come back 5 straight 10-point deficits in the second half.
Set a record. Set an NFL record.
Snatching defeat from the jaws of victory like a fucking loser.
It's not on Josh Allen.
That wasn't. In the first half, by the way, there was a horse collar that ripped his jersey in half.
Rightfully so.
Well,
It was
the
uncalled.
jersey ripping part was legal. It was reaching around to the back of his fucking collar and grabbing him and right in front. The ref's like,
I've never seen a referee staring so intently at a play. I thought the officiating in Ohio State, Michigan was fine. The NFL, though, was horrific.
Insult to injury, they gave him an intentional grounding on that. When there was a receiver, he was blocking, but he was right there.
Right there.
Yeah, why would you watch any other NFL game except the Eagles? It's always an exciting game.
It is.
And the refs are always completely fucked one way or the other.
One way or the other.
Yeah.
They're fucked.
They never get it right against the Eagles. It's either really bad for or against them.
The Eagles are now must-watch TV. They're the funnest team to watch in football.
Wearing
and
the
like
Kelly
you said,
greens,
they should keep those permanently. There's no reason to ever switch out of those. I like the graphics that
no team should ever go past what their logo was in the 1990s.
I agree.
Bring it out.
I don't know.
It
The
looks
Buccaneers
great.
look kind of shitty.
That's what I'm saying. The Buccaneers in the 90s
creamsicles?
logo, the creamsicles are beautiful.
Oh, the Buccaneers. I'm a big
The early
creamsicle.
2000s.
The
They're-
70s.
they look like
70s
clowns,
ones. I
man.
love them.
Their uniforms now suck. They're easily
They're worse
top
now,
5
though.
worst jersey in sport.
They're not good now either, but that creamsicle is not good.
Creamsicles are beautiful.
I have a conspiracy theory for you. Is Jalen Hurts purposely getting down so he can win the MVP and just come back every single game?
Is he shaving points like Jameis Winston at Florida State?
That's what it feels like right now.
You never
Where
know.
Like he'll just turn it on and be like, all right, great. Now I'm going to run for 20 yards. And he even had the exact toss that the Alabama guy in the back of the end zone. Was it the same yardage too?
I don't know, but can we start recognizing Devonta Smith as a good receiver?
He's always been great. He was
brittle.
one of the best I've ever seen.
There's a lot of
in
people
college.
that like kind of chirp him because he's tiny.
I'm not.
cares?
I saw him in the college. He lit up Ohio State in the CFP with the COVID year, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was the fastest wide receiver I've ever seen in real life.
He's easily the most reliable receiver in
He doesn't drop any balls. I don't get
on
the
the
hatred.
team. Yeah.
Devonta Smith is so good that he accidentally ruined Bill Belichick's career by making Mac Jones look so good.
Yes.
That,
Yep.
that the Patriots thought he was a viable option.
His yards after the catch made Mac Jones look like a fucking superstar.
He gets overshadowed because
AJ Brown.
Brown.
AJ Brown is bigger and he gets thrown to more yards, more receptions, but he looks like he would be brittle. You look at him, you're like, that guy's not going to play every game. He's played every fucking
Every game.
17.
I've heard people describe him as nebbish.
No, dude. I tell you what. Not that everybody has
Until he
this.
gets fucking hurt brittle wise and misses games, I don't want to hear that shit.
I don't
Right,
either,
to be honest.
but we've had the advantage of being either on the field or front row for these games. I've never seen a faster college wide receiver than Devonta Smith, and it was fucking nuts what that guy's able to do. I don't give a shit that he's small. Coming out of the slot and you got A.J. Brown out there, like, that's probably what you want. And the guy doesn't drop a fucking ball. I love Devonta
Nobody
Smith.
says this shit about Tyreek Hill, who is fucking like 2 inches shorter.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, what the fuck?
And even when he does drop a ball, they credit him with a catch.
Who?
The refs.
Oh, the refs. Yeah.
That's happened a couple times this year. But
So-
we're too quick at the line. They never review it.
I don't really get the hatred for him, if there is any. I think, A.J. Brown chirping in Jalen Hurts' ear probably isn't great all the fucking time.
And I'm sure everybody else around the country probably hates Sirianni and probably hates this team. Probably hates our fans.
The fans, sure. But
They hate the
is
fans.
anyone really like that invested in hating Philly outside of the Northeast?
But is there a
Like John
man that
Sanders?
fits the culture in the town more than Sirianni fits Philly?
No, he's
the name
the
alone.
dude.
Danny DeVito, maybe?
Yeah. He's the dude.
Bring in Frank. Let him coach the team.
I just feel like it's going to be a massive letdown at the end of the year.
Oh, I know. I'm setting myself up for it. Like, we're going to get either to the NFC Championship game or the Super Bowl, and we're going to lose to either the Niners or the
Oh,
Chiefs.
I was telling him last night because he was talking about it. I was just like, yeah, you sound like me watching the Braves in August right now. Like that's where you're at.
Yeah, but we're not killing teams. We're just like pulling all these games.
I
out
know,
of our
but you're
ass.
still at 9-1. The team's incredible. It's winning. It's talented as fuck. And you're like, dude, we got what are we missing? Nothing. We're missing nothing.
But I keep telling you, we're probably going to lose in the Super Bowl. Like,
No, I think it could be the 49ers. The addition of Chase Young. I watched that
too.
49ers Seahawks game. I had a lot of money on it. Thankfully, they covered. But watching Chase Young with that fucking defense, Jesus Christ, they're disgusting. I mean, they just shut down the Seahawks.
Because how often does the best team in the NFL in the regular season win the Super Bowl? I feel like
More frequently than
I don't think
other
so.
sports.
Probably 1/3.
I mean the Chiefs
Maybe
a couple
half.
times, maybe.
Yeah.
The Chiefs recently,
Maybe
the Patriots.
half, maybe a third. Yeah, it's more than other sports, probably. Yeah,
More
no,
than other than the NBA.
When the NBA has a super dominant team, they always win.
Yeah,
Unless
NBA is
somebody
always
gets
the
hurt.
The NFL is pretty chalky, at least for the top seed
NFL
or
is
two.
pretty paired.
I think NHL is probably the craziest, right?
Yes.
They
Yeah,
never,
for
it's
sure.
never- I mean, like the Lightning finally ended up winning a couple years, but they had the best team for like 5 years.
Because
before
I mean,
that.
they were the
won
top
with-
seed. They were the Braves every year.
and then
they would
Boston
lose.
last year got butt fucked in the first round after being the best team all year.
Yeah,
and
well,
even
they
when
set
we
the record
won,
for wins.
when we went 13-3, and I think we were a 1 seed with Nick Foles, people are still counting us out because obviously Wentz was out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we looked like ass at the end of the year.
Now, there's a guy from San Francisco you forgot to mention.
Who's that?
Brock Purdy.
Oh boy, I'm not doing it.
Do you know who leads the league in quarterback rating?
Brock Purdy,
Brock fucking Purdy leads the league in quarterback rating.
Mr. Irrelevant.
19 touchdowns, 16 interceptions. Now he
Brock
or no, I'm
Purdy's
sorry,
good.
six, not 16.
Brock Purdy's good.
The difference for Purdy is amongst starting quarterbacks, he's one of the least sacked of all quarterbacks. Tua is actually the least sacked. So if you don't think,
Well, he learned how to fall. Didn't
yeah,
he?
if you don't think Miami figured that whole situation out real quick, they figured it out, and that's why they're
Well, he did
successful
the
this year.
jitsu. He was doing
yeah.
jiu-jitsu in the offseason.
Brock
but-
Purdy had 209 yards, a touchdown, and an interception.
and a win.
Brock Purdy does what he's asked to do.
yeah.
You have the
Nobody's-
best defense, and you have the best running back in the nation.
And you have
Nobody's
the
asking
best-
him to be 2012.
No, he
Peyton
completes 70% of his passes. He's leading the league in passes per attempt.
You have the best coach in the NFL, I think.
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
He can't win a Super Bowl.
Well, we'll see, right?
Guy.
He'll find a way to spike
He'll
himself.
he fucked up too. What are we expecting from
I mean,
him now?
I'll say
in the
Andy-
fourth quarter.
Andy Reid
best.
at this point's probably won, but Shanny's right there.
Yeah.
Well,
And
CJ
Belichick's on his way out.
By the way, CJ Stroud is second place in all those statistical categories.
Oh yeah, it's nuts. Watching the Texans, they got fucked in that game. By the way,
Yeah.
I watched it. I had money on that as well. They covered. It was great. But
I did like.
It was an awesome. They're fun to watch.
I did like Lawrence in that game. He looked better.
Mm-hmm.
He's getting better. I don't know. It's there's such a lack of consistency from that guy.
Yeah.
From a number one pick, you would think. I mean, I don't know. There's nothing to think.
All right.
that-
Can we talk about this, though? Now that there's so many injuries, the AFC is not, like, that far ahead of the NFC.
Not anymore.
No, well, it's not because
Burrow's out.
It's
With
because
Burrow out,
Burrow's out. Josh
Bills are gonna
Allen
be
is a
out.
fuking loser.
Yep.
Rodgers out.
Rodgers
Rodgers
is
out.
out. The Chargers have the worst coach in the history of the NFL.
Lamar
maybe.
doesn't have a tight end now.
Nope.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a tight ends.
The Jaguars
Patriots
being
are
like the
terrible.
1 or 2 seed, that doesn't
They're one.
scare me at all.
They're the 1 seed
No, the
right
Chiefs
now.
won because
Yeah.
so the
Chiefs
Chiefs
beat
are
'em.
one.
Oh, okay,
But
gotcha.
you're getting back.
But like for that brief, like 3-minute period, yeah, they were
But
the
you're
number
getting
1
3
seed.
minutes.
But
They
you're
were the
getting
number 1 seed.
backstopped by Denver now. Who
Oh God.
They've won 6
Are you
games
afraid
in a
of
row.
anybody in the AFC except the Chiefs? Like,
No one.
No.
No one.
But they've Denver's won 6 in a row.
Man, the Chiefs are about to straight up just like crawl their way to a
Walk
Super
their way
Bowl
to
with
the Super
home
Bowl.
field advantage
Yeah.
and a sick defense, and then
Minshew, by the way, is leading the charge there. The Colts are probably going to the playoffs.
Probably not because they're like the most 500 team I've ever seen.
6-5 for those guys.
Yeah, they'll end up like 9-8.
It depends on the
whole
schedule.
AFC is going to end up 9-8, except for the Chiefs. The Broncos are fucking miserable to watch. Browns were down to, I think, the 4th string. At one point, they were talking about bringing in, and I don't know if this was a joke on the telecast, Myles Garrett to be the emergency quarterback.
That'd be sick.
or Ford.
Wildcat.
Is he just
or
gonna
that
run or
Ford.
what?
That's what I was
I'll
like.
watch that all day.
And I forgive me if
Why
I'm
don't they
off
do
on
that?
this one, but they said Ford and I think him, and I was like, that can't be right.
I'd watch that.
So would I, and
Hell yeah.
they were close to it in that game. Homeboy got hit on I thought it was a clean hit. They called a 15-yard penalty on that, and he got knocked out. The kid from DTR from UCLA. But the rest of this, yeah, man. I mean, going through it. Chiefs won, covered, great. Bills are the Bills. Ravens didn't look great last night, but the Chargers have the worst coach ever. Ravens have a good defense.
Right now, the Bills are on the outside looking in, playoff wise.
I got 3 teams.
The Texans are ahead of them. So the right now, this is what the AFC would look like. Ravens at 1 because they're 9-3, and we'll see if that holds, right? But they back into the season are usually pretty good. Chiefs at 2, obviously they'll probably hold on to that, or 1. Jacksonville, who the fuck knows? I think Miami is at 4. They'll probably go after, or they'll probably pop past Jacksonville at some point. But then Steelers, Browns, Colts, Texans. So
And the Bills have to play the Chiefs, the Cowboys, Chargers, Patriots, Dolphins.
Here are the
they're not
teams.
making it.
Here are the teams that you would have expected to be in the playoffs that probably won't be. The Bills, the Bengals, and the Bengals injuries, whatever. But
Yeah.
they weren't playing all that great the first half of the season,
No.
right? The Bills, the Bengals, the Chargers, I would have expected to be in the fucking playoffs, and the Jets, obviously. But once Aaron Rodgers went down, that was nobody really expected that to happen.
Dude, the Ravens have a brutal end of the season. You want to hear this? This
Yeah.
is fucking bad. They play the Rams next week, whatever. I mean, they could lose that game, but whatever. At the Jags, at the Niners, Dolphins come to Baltimore, then the Steelers come to Baltimore.
I heard 2 soft-ass games right there. Jags and Dolphins. Bitch-ass teams.
Dolphins,
I agree.
Dolphins are soft, yeah, but
I
they can
agree,
fucking
but
put
they
up
can at least
points.
put some points. So.
Somehow the Steelers are going to win that division, probably.
Yeah,
right?
They
dude.
win that game.
Yeah,
at
you know
least.
why?
yeah.
Because they got the fucking best defense in the NFL, right?
And
They're close.
Tomlin's a really good coach.
Yeah.
I should give him credit.
It's all Tomlin
But they're
at this
all
point.
they're all fighting now. Do you hear this?
Yep.
Hightower wasn't involved, or Highsmith rather, but all the other stars in the defense were fucking fighting each other and shit. Why? You're winning
Sweet.
games. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Because they don't have an offense.
Who did?
Yeah. Go fight Kenny Pickett then.
Yeah. Who's their OC
go stretch
now?
his hands out somehow.
Canada got fired. Who's their OC now? 'Cause
I
know-
think Tomlin was his play calling.
I saw Dorsey got fired obviously last week for the Bills, and Joe Brady came in.
Yep. I don't know.
Matt
a great
Wright
offensive
got.
But if I'm looking at the NFL,
Eddie Faulkner.
oh, I love Big Falk.
Okay.
Go Falk yourself. But for me personally, I've only got 4 teams with a legitimate shot to win the Super Bowl in the entire NFL right now. Eagles, Cowboys, Chiefs, 49ers.
You're going to acknowledge the Cowboys can.
There's
No, because they can come out of, if they can have some offensive display,
I thought you just said Cowboys.
You sound like
they could go to the Super Bowl.
You sound like a Cowboys fan right
Yeah,
now.
not a
Because
Cowboys
guess what
fan.
happened? No, I know you're not, but guess what happened again? This is what I said weeks ago. Against mediocre, they'll have these weeks. They'll have these like magical
Flashes.
fucking weeks.
I'm with you.
Where it's
I'm with
just
you.
like, how can this team can do no wrong? Like Dak Prescott slinging it, the defense, Micah Parsons, and then
But then you realize it's Mike McCarthy.
Mark McCarthy's the
Yes.
coach.
Look, the NFC Championship is going to be 49ers Eagles. The Cowboys will not make it.
Cowboys might make it.
No.
Over
I mean,
who?
They could beat. I think they can beat us. They can't beat the Niners. I will acknowledge though that they know us.
I don't
inside
know.
Now you
and
guys
out.
are
I
going to
don't
beat
think they can
them
beat the
2 or
Eagles.
3 times this year.
They're gonna beat us
There's a
in-
game.
they're gonna beat us
There's
in
a game
Dallas.
in 2 weeks.
No.
They're going to beat us in Dallas.
I'll take that action.
It's the Sunday night game too, by the way.
Yeah, they're
Yeah, of
going
course.
to the Cowboys are going to get fucking butt fucked.
Yeah.
Anytime it matters, they
Well,
suck.
we're gonna lose another game. It's gonna be either we're probably gonna
It
lose.
doesn't
the
matter
Niners,
if you lose another game. You're the 1 seed.
and we're gonna lose to Dallas. I think we're gonna.
You might
go
lose the last game of the
14 and
season
3.
with none of your starters on the field.
Yeah.
Wait, you say you're going to lose to the Niners?
We're gonna lose to the Niners this week.
What's the Niners' record? Don't they only have 3 losses?
Yeah, we have 1 loss, so we need to.
So you
need to.
Is it at the Niners?
If you
or
lose,
at-
yeah, you can't. If you lose to the
Oh,
Niners,
shit.
then you can't lose.
Is it at San Francisco or in Philadelphia?
I think it's in San Francisco.
Okay.
I could be wrong.
No, it's in
Oh, it's in Philly?
Yeah.
It's in Philly.
I
Shit.
still don't have any confidence.
Then at Dallas on December 10th, are you going to go to that game?
No, because I've done that before. I've done the drive up to Dallas, go to the Eagles game, and then
drive
drive
sucks.
back.
Yeah.
in
Just
the
get a
same
hotel.
day.
There's a Lowe's hotel right there.
It's a Sunday night game. I don't want to drive here on a Monday morning.
No, it's
That's
miserable.
terrible.
I did it 3
kinda
weeks.
think
I
it's-
did it 3 weeks ago. It was not good.
You just
also
got
not
to leave
spending
at
that
like
kind of
6
money.
a.m.
I'm with you.
You get some Whataburger breakfast, a coffee, just have a nice little drive.
Sure, but then
Dust
when you go to
yourself,
Jerry
stop
World
for
too, you don't
diarrhea.
even watch the game on the field. You watch the fucking.
You're just a
screen.
fair weather fan, is all.
That's not true.
No, I agree. That
watch
drive,
the game on
I hate-
TV?
I hate the drive to Dallas. I
The
hate it.
TV is like
I'm with
I'm
you.
either going to watch the game on TV at my house or I'm going to watch the game at Cowboys Stadium on the TV above the field.
Your last 3 games are Giants, Cardinals, Giants.
Giants, Cardinals, Giants. Holy shit. Is
Yeah,
that
and
real?
then at Seahawks is the one before that. That's probably a
So you
win.
just got to stay clean on the Niners.
yeah, you
I
just
don't
have
want
to
to
win.
Yeah, we
one
just
of
went
the
through our
next
hardest
2
stretch.
games.
We
Yeah.
just played the Dolphins, the Chiefs, the
Yeah.
Bills.
Yeah, and you beat all of them.
beat
And now
all
you
of
don't
them.
have the confidence to say you're going to beat the fucking Cowboys.
Because
You'll be fine.
we always split with the Cowboys.
Yeah.
We always split with the
We're
Cowboys.
not doing that this year.
No, we're not doing that
you
this year. But those are the
probably-
only 4 teams I got.
You'll
That's
probably
a
lose to the
realistic shot.
49ers this week, but I think you'll beat the Cowboys and then win out.
I'm terrified of the Niners.
Yeah, look, that's going to tell a lot about
That defense is fucking
what
something
this
else.
is actually going to be in the NFC. It's the 2 best teams. It's not close. I don't have anybody else there
I think
in
it
that,
is
in that
close.
championship game.
I think Dallas could make it.
I don't think Dallas is.
By the way, NFC right now, if the season ended today, Philly obviously 1, 49ers 2. Then you got Detroit at 3, and guess
Awful.
who's
Detroit
Pretenders.
stinks.
guess who's number
Frauds.
4?
But you know who's I would take?
Guess who's 4?
Is it
know
the
who-
Atlanta Falcons?
Yes.
Fly.
I would take the Falcons over the fucking Lions at this point. in
I
the
would too.
playoffs.
The Falcons are going to win the shittiest division in the history of football.
I'm so mad at the fucking Lions right now.
I'm so mad at the Falcons. If we had a quarterback, Bijan Robinson, if we had a quarterback and a coach, that's
They
too
cost
big.
the Lions.
Well, you
cost
can
me
get
so
a-
much money on
The,
Thanksgiving.
the
Same
funny
here.
thing is you're not going to get a fucking quarterback in the draft because you're going to finish as a division winner.
I know.
It's
I know.
stupid.
It's gonna
So-
unless we trade for Fields. That's the only option.
Falcons 4, Cowboys 5, which would make that the matchup.
There's like 10
Oh, no,
quarterbacks
that's
that are
not
going to go in the
that's not
first
right.
4 rounds.
All
not
right,
4 or
there's
5.
one other team you didn't mention. So-
Vikings.
for what?
Gross. They're on tonight. We'll get to that in a second.
There's one other team I think could win the Super Bowl just based on defense, like points allowed or whatever, and that's the Ravens.
Potentially.
They keep winning games
Yeah.
where their
Lamar's good.
offense sucks, which is
Yeah.
a good sign for a defensive team.
It
like
sure
that.
is. Their defense is really
Because
good.
they've also got a little bit of offensive pop. If it lines up for them, if the matchup's good, they can fucking throw up 30.
Their
40
offense doesn't
points.
suck. They're just playing against 2 of the best defenses
Yeah.
4 times a year,
Yeah.
which is the Steelers and the Browns.
Right.
Yeah.
And they did say Andrews did have a shot to come back for the playoffs. So
Yeah, I would take a flyer on the fucking
Yeah.
Baltimore Ravens.
But those are the only 4 teams that have allowed less than 200 points so far this season, and then the Eagles, who are full of defensive talent,
Yeah.
and the Eagles haven't let up that many points either. But
Bend
yeah.
but don't break.
exactly.
Yeah, the last 3 in the NFC is Vikings, Seahawks, Packers. They're not beating anybody in the playoffs.
maybe the Seahawks jump up and bite like Dallas, actually. But
I think if
Another
they're
fumble on a snap.
yeah.
Jesus Christ.
By the way, Frank Reich got fired by the Panthers after 11 games in.
I don't know. That must have been. I wanted to talk about that. That must have been a personality issue and not a because nobody expected them to be good.
I thought he also wanted to draft C.J. Stroud over
Because
Bryce
he just
Young.
got
He
fired
did.
last year.
He did, and that was the bickering that they had, was over the draft pick. And I think, to your point, I think it was a personality issue, and he must have bitched about it enough. I'm gonna be real though, man. I watched some Panthers fucking games. The one yesterday. I don't think it's him.
It's not good.
It's not. It's the offensive line is terrible. None of the receivers are open. I mean, he has nowhere to fucking go.
They had a decent defense last year. That doesn't exist.
That doesn't
anymore.
exist.
You mean it's not Bryce Young?
I don't think it's Bryce Young.
Oh well, who knows?
It's for
right?
sure Bryce Young. He's too small. He sucks.
I
Get him out.
Watch the coverage and like there's no one open.
His
They just
parents
don't
wore Alabama
have
gear
anyone.
yesterday.
They should have.
They did.
I mean, they should for the rest of the kid's career because the Panthers will never be good. And you can't just keep firing coaches here year after year. How long was Rule there? 1 year?
I'd be
He was there
okay
3
with
years.
getting rid of
Yeah, it was
the
like 2 or
Carolina
3.
Panthers as a franchise. Like,
Yeah,
move them.
contract them. Get
Just
them
get
out.
rid of them.
Carolina Panthers are the most, them and the Titans are the most just like fake ass teams. Like send them to real places. First off,
I agree with the Titans, by the way, too.
yeah,
Get
they-
them out
send
of
them to
Tennessee.
real places. It's an obscenity that there's even that many NFL teams in SEC country because they're just not ever going to love you
Well,
the way
it's
they love.
Nashville. Titans I think should stay in Nashville. Charlotte, I don't know. They've never had a good football team, basketball team, anything.
Even
Charlotte
their
seems like
soccer
a-
team sucks.
Yeah.
So the guy, the owner of the Panthers owns both of those teams. And since he's taken over ownership, they've been the 2 worst performing teams in their respective leagues. Now that's not a good sign.
Well, he keeps dipping his dick in here trying to make calls. He
Yeah.
wanted Bryce Young over Stroud.
Well, Reich he got fired last year too. He's the first coach in NFL history to be fired in the first season of his tenure 2 years in a row.
I don't know why they keep hiring him.
Maybe he's a dick, right? Or maybe it's like, I don't know. How do you get to that position? It's like, hey, look, I want you to get C.J. Stroud, and then you're fucking 11 games in now, and you're like,
They
see?
also
I told you to fucking do this.
They also fired Deuce Staley.
Is Deuce gone?
Hate to see my guy without a job.
No way, dude. Philly's got to hire him. Why wouldn't Philly hire him?
I haven't heard that.
Well, he
name
was a
in
running
while.
back coach for like a decade.
I know.
Yeah.
Bring him back, dude.
Bring him back.
Bring him back. Let's get to tonight's game here. Bears against the Vikings.
No thanks.
This is Vikings -3 tonight. Well,
Pass.
Bears money line. It's the Vikings organization will find a way to fuck this up. They're in the playoffs right now. They got to work their way out of that shit.
Yeah, they
and you
sure
can't
do.
do that unless you lose this game.
Yeah, but you have a rocket scientist at quarterback. I'm gonna go with the Vikings. Josh Dobbs.
Do you think Josh Dobbs was like respects physics so much that he willed his alopecia into existence?
Yeah. Or it was like Dr. Manhattan where he got shocked in some machine and now his hair doesn't grow.
I think so. Yeah, and I think. Do you think his parents are more disappointed that he became an NFL quarterback than like a
Yes.
useful person
Wait,
in
how
society?
has he not gone to a Halloween party as Dr. Manhattan, hanging dong and all?
Blueface though, right? Is
yeah,
that even
yeah.
legal? I don't know.
yeah,
works.
probably.
He's light skinned enough just to put on some Blue Man Group paint, like to blow himself.
Yeah.
Right. I
Yeah.
accidentally blew myself.
Real quick here, though, there's a weird stat about tonight's game. So, NFL favorites need Vikings to cover for the most historic winning week in NFL history here. Favorites have covered the spread in 12 of 15 games.
Bad week for Vegas, I assume, if that's the case.
Sure was.
I'll take Bears +3 then, because history doesn't really happen very often.
It
That's why
doesn't.
they call it history.
It doesn't. I'm going to take the Bears as well.
Wait, am I fading history?
Watch out for that. Yeah, you're fading history. Watch out for that over here. What is that over here? 43.5. Man, I'm gonna tease this up both ways.
That's a guy that
tease
needs
it
to
down.
go though.
Let's
Get
go.
rid of the fucking coach of the Bears. Bring in Harbaugh already. Let's go.
That's what everybody wants to see.
Let's do it.
Well, look, I think we're 5 weeks away from that happening.
And
He'll be out anyways.
or I
Harbaugh's
mean, he
like-
might be in Vegas too.
Michigan has the answer, I think.
No, Harbaugh's a psycho. He wants to be freezing in the bitter cold.
He doesn't want to be in Vegas. He's not a Vegas guy.
No.
No,
Yeah.
can you imagine what a city? That would be the most wasted city on a human being of all time.
Yeah.
He's like, well, he's just walking around in his fucking khakis. Like, oh, do people gambling around here?
Oh,
I mean, granted-
he's like leaning into being old now too.
Oh, yeah.
The older he gets, the older he looks.
Maybe he'll just be down at the slot machine. Nickel slots.
Look,
then.
he is a Vegas person in terms of like gotta assume he loves a buffet. And
A slot machine.
If it's a slot machine, yeah, 100%.
But there's not enough Midwestern, like Walmarts and all that shit in Vegas. I think he goes to the Bears.
Yeah.
I think this is a done deal. And I think if you're Michigan, you have your coach, so fuck it. Let him go. That guy's a cancer anyways. A bunch of weird statements, too, after that win. Like, I never left, man. They were like, hey, how did you feel about being suspended? I never left.
Well, he never left.
No,
He,
you
he
see-
also
sure
said the
did. You
hatred
weren't
between
coaching the
Ohio
games.
State and Michigan is
Well, he's-
manufactured by the
he's at
media.
practice.
No, it's not. They
Yeah.
fucking had you.
He's still
what are you
doing all the
talking
press
about?
conferences. He's still at practice.
Also-
he just doesn't go to the game.
He's
He doesn't coach the game.
speaking of being a
You also,
6 times this year.
who's to say he's not? They broke the rules already. Maybe he's got a
know-
little earpiece.
How does that work? Are you allowed to call in?
I don't know.
Michigan
not
was,
allowed.
How could
Michigan
they
was
stop
3
you?
for 3 on 4th
Yeah, maybe
downs.
on those tablets.
I mean, dude, there
You have
are
Harbaugh
there are
just
plenty
calling
of
in on
stories in
Zoom.
the
You on
MLB.
Zoom?
Yeah.
And the MLB managers will just fucking shout up from the tunnel and shit and be like, do this. Also, by the way, I wanted to note that Harbaugh, to your cancer comment, noted flip-flopper.
On cancer?
No, he is a cancer because of flip-flopping.
Oh, I see.
Recently retracted his chicken stance.
Oh, he's pro chicken now.
He said that he owns some chickens now, and he's watched them in the wild, and that they're mean. And then
yeah, they are
retracts
mean.
his
I guess he
chicken
didn't
stance.
realize that chicken. He thought chickens would panic. They're a creature that panics too much,
Yeah.
so he would not let his quarterback eat chicken.
Yeah. I mean, look,
That's the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life.
That was the last thing I wrote at TFM before I got fired.
Canelo eats chicken. Now, granted, it's hormonal chicken, right? That makes him piss hot, if you believe that story.
I
Yeah.
do not.
He does a pretty good job at fighting.
He's fine. But I mean, look, Harbaugh. The worst thing about Harbaugh leaving college is that he won't be able to sleep with high school boys anymore.
Yeah, you can't have sleepovers with a high school kicker.
Yeah.
That's all it is, right?
Speaking of high schoolers, Josh Giddey, am I right, guys?
Man,
Are you working on your top
another
5?
one, dude? Another one. Like, how are you a professional athlete dating
All right.
somebody underage?
To be
This is
fair.
the second one we've had now.
To be fair, he is also kind of a child.
He's 23.
21.
Okay.
And this didn't happen yesterday, right?
I think it happened last year or 2 years ago. So he was like 19, 20. Girls, I believe 15, so that's tough. But I guess he met her at a club. And like, is it
Where?
on?
What country?
I think in LA.
Okay.
I think in California. I haven't really dug into the story yet, so I'm just kind of firing from the hip, and that's
the best way to do it on a
with
topic like
statutory
this.
rape allegations. That's what you want to do.
Yeah. Feel it out.
It just seems different. People are comparing him to like Karl Malone. Karl Malone impregnated like a 13-year-old girl when he was like 40.
Oh boy, is that true?
I think it's
Yeah.
wildly different.
Yes.
Oh, God, I didn't know that.
And if you're at the club, you just kind of assume everyone there is 18 or 21.
Yeah, so some new video has come out of him at the club with this particular woman.
Really?
Yes.
And she does not
Which
look
is
15.
where he said he met her.
Okay.
So it's like, it feels like you probably got away with it, buddy. Congratulations, I guess.
Holy shit! Oh, you saw the video? Did she not?
Yeah,
look?
it's
She
on
looks
fucking Daily Mail.
like she's
yeah.
in college.
All right. All right. Weird story here to end it, by the way. There's a bunch of people that are leaving Dion in Colorado. A bunch of
Decommits left and right.
Why? Is he like? Is there a rumor of
I
him
think he's
leaving or
leaving.
something?
He
I
might
think
be
he's
leaving the commit.
go where?
One commit straight up said, "I don't know if Dion's going to be there."
There you go. If Dion goes to Ohio State, you getting rid of Ryan Day?
There was a thread that I was on that said that. No, I think Dion's final end game or end goal is Florida State at the end of the day. So, like, I wouldn't
How?
trust that.
Norvell's not going anywhere.
Well, give it 2 or 3 years. And I think Dion is just kind of getting used to what it's like coaching in a P5 for 2 or 3 years.
I would argue
think
Norvell
his end game is Florida
right
State.
now is a top 5 coach in college football.
I'd agree with that. People don't realize how. I mean, like he took over a rough situation.
Jimbo destroyed that program.
Yeah.
Destroyed it. Left it empty.
There's someone between him and Jimbo, right? Taggart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But still, like it was not good.
Yeah, Willie Taggart had no chance.
I think the other dark horse to keep an eye on is the Atlanta Falcons.
That would make more
They
sense.
they love fucking Dion. He's from there. He lives there. Everything else.
How are you going to get rid of your guy Arthur if he's going
God
to make the
damn it!
playoffs?
Fire him tomorrow.
If he's making the playoffs.
Fire him tomorrow and put Dion in. So maybe there's something going on behind the scenes that we don't know. But I mean, they're losing everybody commit wise here in the last 2 days, and it's very odd. Love to see him on the Falcons. Come home. I'm fine with that. That'd be great. But we'll see.
Dion will never be an NFL coach.
I don't know.
I kind of think he likes the power he has over kids.
You can't be talking that kind of shit to grown adults.
You're not going to sit 80 NFL guys and give them a life lesson in a fucking auditorium. That's what he wants to preach. Remember what happened after he fucking left CBS? He became a fucking preacher.
Very good preacher.
Wearing his fucking flashy suit. He was like
Yeah.
a televangelist for a couple of years. Remember that?
That's great.
But, he'll get another year at Colorado. They're going to be Big 12 Dion, Big 12 Colorado.
Yeah.
They'll do much better next year.
Fuck yeah, because you're not playing anybody. So, yeah. But watch out for that. I think I'd give him one more year. I think when Shedeur graduates, then he makes
Then he's
his
off,
decision and he's out of
Well,
it.
it also, like, Shedeur has a spinal fracture right now.
Oh,
That's
God.
why he's not playing. So if they're, and hopefully he comes back and can play again. But if he's not going to be playing again next year for some reason, and they know that, then Dion might fucking fuck off and go somewhere else. I know the main reason people say he's not going to leave is because his kid's still there. I know his other one's still there as well, but Shedeur is the favorite. Let's be real about that, right? He's the best one, right?
I think he has a literal ranking board.
Oh yeah, he
Yeah.
certainly does.
And it
yeah.
changes weekly.
Oh yeah.
It's
yeah.
a magnet on the fridge.
It's like the CFP does it every Tuesday night. He sits the kids down and he goes, "Here's where you're at."
No, he doesn't tell them. He just puts it on the board, and they can come home when they get home from school. They find out.
Oh, I
Now-
like that even
Yeah.
better.
I mean, you got to
Way-
think the vagueness is better too, because at one point, the other one, I don't even know his name, probably because Dion doesn't want me to know his name. And like at one point, he's gonna get so anxious about it, he's gonna be like, "Should I donate my own toes to?"
I'm
my
actually
father?"
surprised he didn't do the George Foreman thing where he just named
them
all his
all
kids
Dion,
George.
yeah.
DeAndre, if it's a lady.
Yeah, I will say though, way too early predictions. What is going to be the biggest college football job opening next year? So that Dion would potentially be a candidate for, and jump. Florida?
Man.
Would he go to Florida?
No,
That's
I don't
if
think you go
Florida,
to Florida.
doesn't have a good.
I think
opening
Napier's
year.
probably gone because I don't think Florida's going to be good next year.
That's crazy. They need more. They need to be more patient. But that is.
But
Mullen
they're not
I know.
patient
Mullen
people.
left that cupboard about as bad as Jimbo left it at Florida State.
Alabama.
Because Saban dies.
No, because he's going to retire soon. He's got to. He's done.
I don't think he is.
He doesn't.
You quit, you
he's
die.
He's not
Yeah.
the same level anymore.
It's like Joe Paterno. As soon as he stopped coaching football, he died.
Even today's show, this is Flip Flop with News. I called you because Delco produced the show. I said, "Hey, dude, We got to flip-flop this. Even 5 days off for me, I feel like I've fucking died.
Even the machinery, right? Like, it didn't work.
After 5 days. So, like, yeah, I'm with you. I don't think Saban retires anytime soon.
Penn State.
Penn State, Texas.
Franklin just got an extension.
Yeah, Franklin's not going anywhere.
They owe him a lot.
Did he
of money.
really?
Yeah.
God damn.
Like
Why?
last year, I think.
Notre Dame, maybe. That coach
could see
is
Notre
fucking
Dame.
terrible.
Marcus Freeman?
Do you think
He's,
Miami?
he's made the biggest mistakes that I've ever seen a coach at a blue blood university.
But he's
make.
so hot.
I just can't imagine Notre Dame hiring a personality like Dion. They usually go pretty boring.
Marcus
I don't know,
is he's pretty charismatic, though.
Dion's pretty family fucking friendly.
Very Christian.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right.
Very
You're
Christian.
right.
I mean, I don't know about
How many kids does he have? Because Freeman has, I think, 6, so that's very good for the Catholics.
Freeman fucks like a Catholic for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
They sent the video to all the churches.
But there's
We
no
got to
way
review
Dion's
it.
not going to fucking Notre Dame.
No, I could see an Oregon for Nike, but they've got their coach. I mean, and there's no reason for him to leave. So,
Oh, here's another fucking great one that could open up in the next year or two, and I
Fucking
mean this
Arizona.
sincerely.
Missouri.
USC.
oh,
Man, you can't keep Lincoln Riley around if he farts out another even 9-win season. This season was so catastrophic that
you might be right. Look, they spent so much fucking money on him, though, man. It would be wild if that happened.
But they're not even getting votes for top 25.
shouldn't.
No, they shouldn't.
They're not getting
shouldn't.
votes. It's been a minute.
Also, Rob, when does Drink cash in his chips and get rid of Mizzou?
yeah, who knows? Maybe he makes the playoff next year, then moves.
Gotta hop.
Gotta hop.
Gotta get the better opportunity.
It's gonna be a sad day.
Yeah, man, and again, back to this ESPN shit here. They're saying Knicks versus Penix again for Heisman. It's just like I get there's an extra game, but unless somebody throws 13 more fucking touchdowns, like this was.
I guess
what Daniels did was amazing.
Arkansas will be open next year.
Oh yeah.
I'm surprised they brought back.
That was insane.
Yeah. It's who knows, but we'll see. Keep an eye on the Falcons though. Arthur Smith is fucking gone after this year.
Take his rightful spot as the head of FedEx.
I would love it. More than life.
BT Bates says USC is poor. They can't afford to let him go. I don't think that's true.
I think they
They
are.
got
They,
too much
USC
money.
is a private school that
they might be cash poor though with the athletic program. Like
Well,
Arizona this year too.
They backed up the truck and paid Homeboy so much money. You know,
They
For
might
sure.
have to ride out his contract.
Arizona though just had it's a weird unreported story that like their athletic program just like lost $280 million or something.
Like
stupid.
not lost, like bad business, like misplaced.
They just misplaced $280 million or something.
what school was that?
Arizona.
Oh, Jesus
So I'm
Christ.
surprised if Jed Fish stays. I don't know how they did that.
Yeah.
Because he's an awesome coach and he turned Arizona around and he should be like the top candidate. I think he'll probably go to Florida next year.
I can see that.
Yeah, dude.
Florida
Good
grad.
fit. That'd be a good fit.
But well, fuck, man, we'll see. I'm looking at all these. I mean, there's just so much fucking going on here. There's tons of shit to bet on. Look, the Bears Vikings game tonight is going to be. I'm gonna chase here. I'm gonna
Don't
go.
do it.
I'm gonna go. For
Sit this one out.
Nope. I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do my specialty teaser, dude, on a Monday night. I'm gonna take the Bears at +10. I'm gonna jack that under down to 37. Let's
Double
go.
down. Lost all the money you lost on Ohio State. Put it on that teaser.
On this? No, not in this game.
I need you to be desperate.
Here's where Well, I always get desperate at the end, right? So Super Bowl is a 5K bet every year. It's a max bet. Ohio State's a max bet. That's where I'll get desperate, but
You should max
it's
bet-
coming up close. We're here. We're at
Max
the end of
bet the
season right now.
Hero World Challenge this week. Tiger Woods is playing.
Is he really? Let's go.
There's only like 20 guys in the field.
Let's do it. I'm all in on Tiger then. 5K. Is he really playing?
Yeah.
I did not. That's funny. I'll turn it on. Is it going to be on? Is it going to be?
It'll be on, yeah, because Tiger's on it.
All right. Let's go. Bet with us or against us at mybookie.com tonight. Good luck. Good luck, kids. It was a crazy weekend. It's going to be another crazy weekend coming up. We will still have the college football prediction show this week, along with the NFL as well. So stick with us. Rate the show 5-star and leave a quick review. On iTunes, Spotify, it's just a 5-star and you can walk away. Subscribe to Drinkin' Bros podcast on Patreon. We'll be live there in about 10 minutes for fake news this afternoon. We appreciate you joining us. For D'Anthony Holloway, Delco, Dan, Hot Bob, I'm Ross Patterson. This is the Monday Morning Recap. Good morning, everyone.